Hey, how's it going? My name's Jordan Oloomi. I'm the Young Adults Pastor at Fellowship Missionary Church, and you're watching Oloominating the Word. As you can see, I'm not in the United States. I'm in Sucua, Ecuador with a team. So I have a special word for you this morning. Let's get into this, Oloominating the Word. Hey, how's it going? I'm sorry, it's going to be a little loud in the background. There's a lot going on. I don't have my microphone with me, but I wanted to make an Oloominating the Word this week. I'm in the middle of Sucua, Ecuador, like I said. We're on a missions trip. We're helping out this ministry called Rescate. And what Rescate means, it means rescue in Spanish. And that's what this ministry wants to do. It wants to rescue kids. Currently there's no foster care program in Sucua. And so these kids that come from homes that are abusive, both verbally, physically, and sexually, they have nowhere to go. They go to the authorities, and the authorities don't know what to do, so they just send the kids back. And so oftentimes kids are put back into the situations that they just came from. And so this ministry is creating a foster care program so they can help kids both mentally and spiritually and present the gospel to them. And so it's a really awesome ministry, but we're doing some things right now that are kind of unseen in the background. We're building a sidewalk for them. We're blessing them by bringing resources and pouring the sidewalk for them. So let me show you some of the project we've been doing here. We've been laying these huge stones. Man, we've been pouring a sidewalk, and as you see, this is the finished project. As you can see, it's been a lot of work that we've done. This week, I wanted to give you guys a teaching that has to do with the type of work that we've been doing, and it's called tiny offerings. Have you guys ever felt like you wanted to give God all you have, but what you have is not much? And especially when you compare it to somebody else, it seems like the gifts and the things that you have to give to God don't seem like anything when you compare it to somebody else. Maybe somebody has more resources than you, and you want to give your resources to God, but you don't have very much. Or maybe you see somebody give their talents and their giftings, and you're like, man, I don't feel like I'm gifted or talented in anything. Or maybe it's something else. I don't know. Have you ever been put in a situation where you feel maybe under-resourced, under-gifted, and you don't feel like you can give much to God? Well, I want to talk about a story today in the book of Luke, and it's Luke chapter 21, verse 1 says this. And Jesus looked up and he saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. And he saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. He said, truly, I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she gave out of her poverty and put in all she had to live on. Do you notice the widow only gave 2 copper coins? That's it. She gave that to God. And Jesus saw that, and he was more pleased with her offering than all the rich people's offerings. Why is that? Because the widow gave everything she had to the Lord. She didn't have much, but what she did have, she gave it to the Lord. I think about that with my team. There's some people on this team that I'm leading that aren't very strong. I mean, to be honest, there's some people that they were construction workers. We have one guy that was in the military, just really buff people that are just throwing rocks, and other people, they're not able to do much. But God sees the offering that they're able to give, and he's pleased with that. And if we give the Lord everything we have and we work, no matter what we're doing, whether it's at work, whether it's in our word, I don't know, whatever you do in life, do it unto the Lord and give everything you can. It's really a perspective change. When you're working, it's really easy to just get the job done and not think much about it. But if you think in your heart and you say, God, I'm doing this to please you, then it doesn't matter how much you're able to give in your work. You're working unto God. You're not trying to please man. You're not working to try to prove something. I believe God puts us in situations where we feel under-resourced, where we feel under-gifted, where we don't feel adequate. He puts us in those situations because he wants to see, will we still give God our full offering regardless? You know, I've said this before in my previous videos, but my wife has been really sick with this thing called hyperemesis. And basically, because of that, she's so sick she can't even get up on her own. I have to help her around the house. I have to help her get to the bathroom and do things that she would normally be able to do. But caretaking is one of those things that I'm just not good at. I mean, when I'm picking up my wife and I'm helping her around the house, I'm knocking her into things, and she's constantly saying to me, Jordan, you have to be more gentle, you have to be more kind. And every day, I have to go back to the Lord in my secret place. I have to get in front of him and say, God, I'm giving you all I have. I know it's not much. I know I'm not very gifted in this, but this is all I have. Will you take it as an acceptable offering? And I know that God is pleased with the offering I'm giving, just because it's not looking so good. And that's my encouragement to you today. You might find yourself in a situation where you feel weak, you feel inadequate, and God has placed you in that specific situation for a reason. He wants to see if you'll give him all you have with your heart, not your actions, not with your physicalness. In your weakness, God is strong. And that's a good thing to delight in, that God hasn't left you and God is pleased with the offering that you give him. So I hope you're encouraged this week. I know it's a shorter teaching, but I hope it blesses you and keeps you going throughout the week. This has been Oloominating the Word. Adios.